Manga get canceled left and right. That's an inevitability of life. There's a manga out there that is being unjustifiably axed. And we've all got that one series that we wished never got canceled early. Maybe it had so much potential, or it was just starting to get good. I mean, if anything, I probably got a dozen of those series in mind right now. But since we live in the West, or well, that's what I presume because you're watching this video, we don't have much say in what manga gets past its first initial chapters. I mean, the most that we can really do is find this manga on a scanlation website, read it, and then try to spread it via word of mouth or on the internet somewhere. I mean, if it dies, well, that's just how the cookie crumbles. For every one good fantasy manga out there are 20 isekai mangas trying to steal the spotlight for at least 15 minutes. Most manga that are popular aren't because there's some original idea, it's because it's following some trendy thing that's currently the hot topic. Which makes today's topic very interesting, because this is a series found by users on Twitter that just got so attached to it that they refused to let this series get canned. And for good reason, because this is a pretty damn good manga. I will agree with them there. Today, I present to y'all Love Bullet, and how its fans still refuse to let it die. Hi, I'm Randy, and anytime I get to jump into another rom-com-esque series, I am all on board, especially when it is as high quality as Love Bullet over here. This is a series that by the end of the first volume, I had to reread a few pages because there were so many tears welling up in my eyes that I couldn't see correctly. If you don't feel anything when reading this first volume of the series, I don't know what kind of manga romance fan you are. This is something that genuinely is able to hit you in your feels so early on. And with a concept like this, it makes sense. I mean, let me give you the quick breakdown on what this is. This is a series where we follow Cupids. People, characters who never got to experience romance while they were alive, so when they die, they transform into these matchmakers. They go out and try to make people fall in love just as everyday Cupids do, but here's the twist, they're trying to work towards karma. Once they reach a certain amount, they can buy their lives back and return back to Earth to continue their lives. So the reason isn't all altruistic or anything like that, they have an end goal, which means that every Cupid over here is practically vying for the same goal, meaning that they're going to be butting heads a lot and showing us that there's going to be some conflict in here, which results to some pretty badass fight sequences. I mean, these girls ain't afraid to fight. Guns, grenades, explosions. But don't worry, it's not gory or anything like that. I mean, these girls are practically ghosts, so it's not really going to hurt them in the long run. This is a romance Yuri manga first, and oh my god, is it so well done. And it's a series that easily hooks you in. Just by that first chapter, my god, I already knew that I was going to love this series. So with everything that I've described, why didn't this series do good in Japan? I absolutely don't know. I can't give you the straight out reason for it. Is it because the series is labeled as a Yuri? I mean, recently I've been seeing a lot of videos talking about how in Japan, a lot of Yuri manga and anime haven't gotten a lot of attention and end up being canceled early. Maybe 1 or 2 series actually come out from the crowd that are just being buried below everything else, but it doesn't seem like it's that popular when it comes to subgenres. Something that I've been thinking about is maybe it's because of its release structure, because there's only about like 13 chapters translated right now, and the first chapter was translated over 2 years ago. So we've practically been getting about 6 chapters a year. So it's kind of understandable that people might jump on to read the manga, but then forget about its existence after months of silence. I'd get that too, but this is quality storytelling that we're getting over here. So how did this manga get so popular in the West? Or how did we even notice that it was gonna be on edge of being canceled? Well, once volume 1 was released in Japan, the manga created these extra pages over here where they were talking about their fear of cancellation because the sales weren't doing all too hot. And this was already a series that had a scanlation and everything. We got these anime girls pleading with us to buy more copies of their manga. And what happened was a whole community on Twitter found out about this, and then they just immediately gravitated towards all those elements that I was talking about previously. From then on, the translator actually set up a good way of how to support the manga overseas by using things like Amazon Japan and other methods to get books shipped out to you, which effectively kind of saved the series. I mean, at no point did the mangaka actually say that the series was in danger of cancellation, but the writing was on the walls. Odds are it's probably not going to get past the volume 2. So People in Europe and people in the United States, people all over the West started supporting this manga until it became a #1 bestseller on Amazon Japan. It's something that everyone took notice of. When this was all happening about 9 months ago, this was a huge hashtag, this was a huge movement in the anime community. One that sadly I missed out on because I didn't know any of it was happening. They released pages and panels talking about how the West helped the series out greatly. And I mean, with all that success in Japan, they've gotten past a volume 2, and we think we're gonna be getting a volume 3 over there as well. And more than anything, the scanlations and the fan translations that we got on our side were something that really helped out the actual movement to getting this series greenlit to actually get a legitimate translation. Something which you can pre-order now on Amazon and other sites, showing exactly how important things like scanlation and piracy websites are to the manga industry. Because without us, without the community gravitating towards this scanlation, like knowing all of this stuff, we wouldn't know that this series was in danger or that this series even existed at all. And now with this, let me talk a little bit more about the premise and the characters in that first volume. The series starts with a chapter 0, where we get the introduction about Cupids, this whole world, about how they do their jobs, but we don't really learn all too much about these characters other than just knowing that Kohaku is our newest Cupid over here, the newest addition to this team. Chapter 1 goes a little bit more in depth with her character because she is our main character. Kohaku, as a human, was this regular girl going to school who played matchmaker to all of her classmates, and she did a pretty dang good job at it. I mean, everyone came to her and asked for advice because she was so good at what she did, even though this kind of peeved off her best friend because every time Kohaku was doing one of these matchmaking things, they were not so close as they were before. And on the way home, as they're having this discussion about talking to classmates, about how they're spending their time, Kohaku's best friend confesses to her. And in any other manga, this would probably be the quickest confession that we would get to date. But here, this is just the beginning of a tragedy. Because as soon as those words are uttered, there is a fatal accident that ends with Kohaku being killed. It is a gut-wrenching scene as a girl watches her friend die as she just previously confessed to her a few seconds before. And when Kohaku wakes up, she's a Cupid. And not only that, it is 5 years into the future. A lot of things have changed, and now she gets picked up by her senpai, another Cupid that's been around for quite a bit longer, we don't know how much, and she's shown the ropes about this new life. We learn about the karma system, we learn about other angels, about what they can do, and we learn about Kohaku's first mission, which is to choose who her best friend is going to fall in love with. End scene. Just with this, you can tell that it isn't such a quick and simple, easy story. There's gonna be tension here. There's gonna be unresolved feelings because this isn't something that you can just turn on a dime and just say that you're okay with. This is a girl that died without ever experiencing love. And then the person that could have given her a shot at this is now the person that she's trying to find someone else for. Just based on that premise alone, I was sad and I was already very excited about what I was gonna get into. And I would say the way that this volume ends is so well done. It is so bittersweet. That is the best terminology used for this scene, as we're seeing Kohaku let go of her friend and her previous life. Even in those scenes where she got to interact with her in her human form, that was something that also just kind of pulled at you. Everything about that first volume is so well done. And I do think she made a wise choice on who to fall in love with. I've seen fans online talk about how volume 2 takes a little bit more of a dip because the characters are more unlikable. And I mean, I think that makes sense, but the story kind of makes it so that they're supposed to be unlikable. There's an arc that we're gonna be seeing happen here. That boy that we're trying to make fall in love with this girl is just complete trash. And we have to see if that's something that can actually change. I mean, that's the reason that there's so much conflict between the Cupids right now, because everyone has their own perspective on what move they should make. Whether they should actually try this kind of relationship or whether they should try and pair her with someone else. It is what it is, but we're seeing everyone's perspective. As I previously mentioned, volume 2 is currently up for sale in Japan, and here in the States, we've got volume 1 coming out in a few months. The Scanlator group has gone on record to mention that the manga has said that they don't know whether or not the manga is going to continue past volume 3, but I think there's a lot of stuff here that they can still work on. I mean, here they've already talked about how in order to gain enough karma, she has to complete at least 500 jobs, and then we still have that other portion of things where when she actually does become human again by the end of the series, I assume, that she's probably not going to be able to come back with all of her memories. Perhaps she's going to forget everything about being a Cupid, and even if that isn't the case, then she's probably going to forget all about her friend that she had in the past because now she's brought back into this world 5 years into the future where everything is 5 years different. I just want to know more about this world, more about the story, and more about what the end goal is going to be like. I want to know more about the characters and everything that's happening, and I just wish we had more content of this. But that's the thing. The only way to get more is by supporting the series. And now, I don't know if Japan's already recognized how good the series is, but people in the West are still pushing for it. I know that for a fact. I would enjoy it if we still get a few more years of this series so that we can get more angles on everything in this world. But with this, I think that wraps up enough of what I wanted to mention about with this series, because I still want you to experience it for yourself. Whether or not you read it or jump into another video talking more in depth about it, just get more immersed in this world and see whether or not it's something that you actually want to read. And if you have read it, please let me know your thoughts, your opinions, everything about it down in the comment section below. I'd love to know what y'all think. And as always, I was Randy, and I'll be seeing y'all next time. Peace.